about Danny Meyer? Well, he is the CEO of Shake Shack. Now, what he said is the only way a company or an organization can grow and remain consistently successful is to always ensure that there is constant training. Welcome and greetings to you wherever you're watching from. My name is Janet Kiriswo, and this is your favorite show, the Public Relations Show by your PR guru. Now, today we want to talk or have a discussion concerning human resource. Yes, human resource is a very vital organ in an organization, but how does human resource play a role along with public relations in an organization? And remember, I always remind you that public relations acts as an image seer of the organization on behalf of the organization and the public. Now, public relations and human resource. The human resource management or the human resource department plays a vital role in ensuring that you have the right employees, you have the right people to work for you, and you have the exact skills that you need. But first, let us talk about these people we call HRs. In so many organizations, they are not your favorite person. Yes, we've had organizations where HRs are taken as the necessary devils. Yes, we have experienced human resource managers or officers, if you like it. And for some reasons, not everyone will like their human resource manager or officer. Now, why? Because they play very important roles in the organization. They act as the control engine of the organizations, and they are the intermediaries between the employees and the bosses. Now, how come the HRs are not liked? Well, they match their character, They are supposed to be tough. They are supposed to be focused. And they are supposed to be very, very honest with everyone. And they're not supposed to be biased. Unfortunately, with organizations that always depend on HRs as their communication person, or their to-go-to person to get views on some people or some employees, that is where now the HR's name becomes, take a new perception, takes a new twist. And this is the organ of the organization where the employer or the CEO has to be really keen on human resource management. They can make or destroy you. They can give you a good internal performance, and that is what you need, that can reflect well on the outward image. And that is what we need. And that helps the public relations officer so much. But when you get a HR who does not represent what you want to be represented, then you will get mixed results internally. You will get mixed unhealthy reactions internally within the employees. Because now, when there is such a perception of biasness that comes from the HR department, then there are some things that needs to be straightened. It cannot be really from the HR point of view. Sometimes it just comes out on how you set the foundation of the human resource office with your employees. And sometimes it is just about the HR. So when we talk about human resource management in organizations, there is really a lot that you need to look into as the dream bearer of the organization. Why? Truth be told, HRs are not the nicest people ever. Yes. For example, you have an experience. I have an experience. Someone else has an experience. But how do you get to share the experience that is positive about your HR to the organization leader? How do you get to share your experience with the HR that is negative to your organization's leader? Yet, the organization's leader depends on what the HR will tell him or her concerning the employee. Do you get my point? Exactly. Now, this is where the communication department comes in. Where there's a communication department and the HR department in the organization, then it means there's a way communication can go through the communication department if there were any issues concerning the HR department. Remember, we are not in an organization to try and put anyone down, but such are the characters that happen. We just don't get to talk about them. So in this platform of the Public Relations Guru, I'm going to dive into the Human Resource Office today and what their roles are. Number one, their role is to bring people on board, like have people to recruit, check your CVs, check your qualifications and everything. That is the first one. The HR also allocates tasks, the departments that one and one has to work. This and this needs to be done. The HR also looks at the training of the employees in the organization, ensures if there is capacity building somewhere that suits a certain department, then they have to do the application, chooses some 1, 2, 3 people to participate in the training. The HR also is responsible with looking at your payments, the payroll, and your rights in terms of retirement benefits, your dividends, and everything that concerns money and your benefits. The HR in some way also is supposed to be in charge of your welfare in terms of the employee. When you have issues as an employee, you need an off, you have an emergency, you have a sick off, you need to go for your leave. She or he is the one that is responsible for that department. So that's why I'm saying it is a very important organ in an organization. And if you don't have an HR department, then you might consider having one. But you just don't say, I don't have an HR department, I need to have one, start employing. No, everything has steps as to how these positions can be filled. Now, as a public relations guru, why am I talking about the HR department? Number one, it's because I, as a public relations, cannot do my operations without the cooperation or without liaising with the HR department. In one way or another, I will have to sit down with the HR and communicate on how we can move the organization along. Remember, from the roles that I've given you concerning the organization, employees need training. Employees need to be paid their salaries, to be given their bonuses on time and everything. As a PR person, I come in to ensure that they are done and how better can we do this. And remember, this is who, the HR is the person who knows who is the employee of the year, who is the employee of the month, so knows how to identify such people because that is his or her docket. As a PR person, I come along on how to make it more vibrant, how to bring it out in such a way that it's just not issued like employee of the year is done and you're the employee of the year, signature done, bonus. No. We have to make a celebration. We have to make an example out of these successes that we have such that it is done in a major way, such that the internal people, the inner cycle in the organization are actually celebrating it together. And when it is celebrated, then it is something that goes out there. It comes out. As a PR person, I'll really appreciate if we can have the photo of the employee of the month just somewhere in our administration. You see, it gives the employee the morale to keep going on. It gives the next employee, that urge to say like, you know what, Victor, you got it this time. Next time, I hope my image will be here. You see, we have certificates that are issued by HR departments. These certificates, when you're given in such functions, you go and take it to your house, you keep it somewhere, you frame it, you keep it somewhere, you are the employee of the month. It goes a long way with boosting the morale and getting the support from your family as an employee. You see, At least they see mom is doing something at work. She was recognized. Dad is doing something great. He was recognized. And this also has a ripple effect to your kids to ensure that they work hard, to your siblings and whoever comes to your house. Now, there's so much we can talk about the HR department in terms of salary payment and everything. Where does the negativity comes from? One point I just want to highlight is the HR department has faced a lot of negativity. Given that it is not the whole department, but the person leading that department. Number one, we give the HRs that are doing their work, their flowers. We have organizations who do not miss to go for retreats. We have organizations who have bonuses, kudos. We have organizations that treat their women when they go for maternity, on leave and everything. They do not give them the headaches. We have organizations that treat their sick employees in a good way. Now, let's look at the vice versa. What makes you as an HR hated? Let me use the word hated. Clearly, number one, people look at it like when it is their leave days, you don't give them according to how they're supposed to be given, You don't give off days. You tell this person you've been sick often. So many times you've been sick, so why are you taking, the conversation that you have with the employee in your office concerning their leave days, concerning the off days, should not be negative. They should come out positively. Don't tell this person you've been going, you're too much, and yet you have not inquired exactly what this person is going through. We have issues in life. We have different kind of things that we go through in life. So how do you talk to your employee when you're in your closed office as an HR concerning how to improve or how to use the off days well and the leave days well? We have organizations where bereavement is just 3 days. If it is very immediate, if it is not immediate, that is the organization structure. But that is where negativity comes out from the HR, because this is where the employee feels like he or she is very vulnerable. And remember, an employee that is not comfortable will not give you 100%. So when you're having such discussions and emotions are playing a role, you as the HR has to be the greater person and pronounce whatever you're pronouncing in a good way. We also have issues with cash, payments, NHIF, NSSF, whichever happens. There are some organizations that do not do the due diligence of paying the NHIF and the NSSF because the employee does not sometimes have time to go and check if it was paid. Only when the employee is sick will the employee realize that my NHIF is not up to date. Why? They come and inquire everything, and then it falls back to you as a HR. Now, I'll talk about the HR and the day will end. There are various things that we need to streamline as the dream bearer and your human resource office. Have a sit down, have a talk. It's not that serious. It's not the end of life. As an HR, put on a smile, for heaven's sake. When you get to the workplace in the morning, say hi to your employees. Your perfume doesn't have to introduce yourself to us, and then we are so scared. We are trying to get our desks, facing our computers and everything. Such kind of characters are really the things that will get to let you know, like as an HR, you're not a leader, you're a boss. And being a boss is not a good thing. It is not a good thing being a boss. When you're called a boss, when you're called madam, those are very dangerous titles. When they call you madam, madam it's not a good word. It's like when they call you in different places of work, when they call you auntie. Auntie has a different tag. Anyway, we'll come to talk about tags later. But as an HR, these are things to look out for if you're actually emitting positivity to your organization. We don't mean that you be so playful with your employees, but at least, you're just employed in that organization. You can be fired too. And you will have to go look for employment elsewhere. You will meet with your junior whom you are maybe harassing at some point. And how will you act? So it's not that serious, please flex your muscles. You're just human, and you're leading the fellow human. When you come in the morning, hi, good morning, you're good, you know. Not that when we see the HR, we're like, what time is it? Am I late? You know, because of such and such. Now, let's go step by step. Are you showing favorism? Are you showing favorism as a human resource person? That one will be seen very fast. It will be felt very fast. Never play with people's instincts or people's inner intuition. If you show favorism, it will be known, you know. And this is where now in organizations, when hiring is done, there's a panel that sits down and does the interviewing and asks the question. The panel has to be really balanced, you know. So the HR, when you're making decisions of employing someone, if you're using a panel, that is good because you'll have a balanced way of coming up with an employee that you want. But if you're not using the panel and you're just using you yourself as the HR, then it brings a lot to question at the end of the day. And remember, we talked about accountability. You need to be accountable so that you can give the same energy of accountability downstream. I've worked in organizations where this HR is very biased on in terms of ethnicity. That is very negative biasness. As in, that's the most degree that you can do. That's the damage that you can do to that organization. The other thing is agreeing to you. As an HR, remember that you're just a person that is acting as the intermediary between the boss and the employees. Do not be so keen to support those that always agree with you. And do not be so keen to punish those that do not agree with you. Do not be so keen to favor those that always agree with you. That is where the damage comes in. You should be open, have an open mind. You should be truthful and you should be focused. And remember, when you're truthful in any organization or in anything you do, then nothing, you will not have anything following you like, oh, you're this, you're this. So be truthful to people. We have HRs whom can actually do better in whatever they are doing. The only thing is you have to just blend in softly with the rest of the employees in the organization. And this is where I get to meet organization dream bearers. We get to have a sit down. We get to have some minor training. There's just some small training with the organization organs like the HR, communication department, advertising department, marketing and sales. And as the public relations organization or officer, I get to have a talk with them, just simple talks and everything. There's some things we might oversee in our workplace that we don't really think can bring us into some issues that can block us from attaining success in the organization. The other thing is that is why in organizations, we are not supposed to be ethnical. I am not even supposed to know that you are from my ethnic group, because we're not supposed to be speaking our ethnic language in the organization. We are supposed to keep it professional. It's Swahili, it's English, or it's French. It's whichever language that the organization sees fit. The reason being to avoid others feeling like they are being talked about, or others feeling like they are being taken for granted, or they are not favored in the organization. So HR, we love you, but there's some things that we need to put straight. Kindly contact me. My contacts will be scrolling on the screen. And remember, this is Janet Kiriswo, UPR Guru. I'll be coming in with the second session or the second episode concerning how a human resource office can maximize performance by just improving how they relate with the real employer and the employee. Thank you so much. My name is Janet Kiriswo. Appreciation to the Wala production and also you for keeping time to watch.